Yo, I just saw the weirdest thing ever, dog. And like I said, news be late when it come to me sometimes on some of these things because there's so much stuff happening in the world that when you see other things happen and people start speaking on narratives, people have to be a little cautious or careful on how they distinctively break down certain things that they hear or see. Because in these scenarios, and don't forget to hit the like button too. I know the banner says all this, but please do so. We appreciate it. All the love and support. We ultimately do. There's a lot of things that have went on with entertainment as far as how they dictate to people what to watch, what to wear, how to dress, the whole scenario, right? So they sabotage other creators so that the ones that they want to promote can shine, right? So we've seen that happen in this business. We've seen it happen on almost every scale, every level, and it's frustrating to some, but it doesn't mean what people narratives and what they think is the truth is. You see, and you sometimes you have to find hidden agendas in the words people are trying to say in the message while trying to hold on to the life that they lead. And to show that I really don't feel this way. Yep. This definitely goes back to what was said about Ice Spice. Because what we saw was a man basically saying, I don't want to do this, but it seems like I got to do this. And on the Patreon, I've uploaded a video that exposed some more of those trafficking people who are in that circle in Hollywood. And it hadn't showed up yet. So now I got to go back and see why that isn't showing up. You understand? I go back and figure out, well, what in the world are they not showing this for? People are paying for it. Here it is. Giving them the information. So you're gonna have some people, and you'll get to see them. You'll get to know what in the world's going on here, because something ain't right. And a lot of it aligns with Sound of Freedom. A lot of it was in the movie that actually was happening here. That I'm wondering if this person, they probably have the same job as that other person. So when you see that on the Patreon, and I'm gonna go hit them up and ask them what's going on. But I know what they're gonna do. They're gonna release it at like 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning. People mostly sleep and say, "Hey, we put it up." So just look for it. Look, check your alerts when you see it pop up, because that's another one. Told you this whole week on the Patreon, we've been exposing that. And speaking of exposing, Meek Mill has stepped up to the plate and decided that what is he going to do for his whole new thing with Robert Kraft. He's on stage. This is the weirdest lineup I've ever seen. You got Meek Mill, Joy Taylor is the host, and Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, is sitting on stage. And you got Meek Mill sitting there giving a rundown of hip hop. Not hip hop, but just talking about anti-Semitism, the end of racism, everything. And like these things are done kind of quietly. Like this was so quiet. Nobody really. So I'm like, why would they do something like this and keep it so quiet that nobody's talking about it? Like it's not really picked up anywhere. This probably had missed me for as long as it did. This is like almost 2 weeks old. And there's so much stuff here that doesn't make sense, that you'll be like, this is dumb. Why wouldn't they go about doing this in this way? Like, this is something pretty big. You would think this would be like everywhere, right? First off, it's called the 114th. That means for 114 years, they have been having an NAACP meeting. And first off, Joy Taylor was the host. That blew my mind. Love, love Joy Taylor. Just don't understand her fit in all of this, but love some Joy Taylor. Yes. Rest in peace to Magoo from Timberland and Magoo. Uh, Magoo died tragically, and there was a lot to be said about that. That would also be on the Patreon because it was some things I never spoke about with Timberland and Magoo because Magoo didn't want it really spoken on after he spoke on it before. So, absolutely. So that's a whole nother thing. So rest in peace to him, man. Yeah, now he's not here anymore. I guess oh shoot, I better watch my back because he spoke on it, and that wasn't kind of something he should have done, even though he was there. So it is what it is. That's like new news, that he's gone. But let's get back to this Meek Mill and this Joy Taylor thing. First off, these black people are on stage, right? Who's supposed to represent the NAACP. And all they talking about is black people hating on other people, anti-Semitism, and all of these different. And I'm like, anti-Semitism. So once again, this gets very confusing. Oh, you finna hear what was said from Meek's part on here. Because what Meek Mill brought up was something different. Oh, you ain't gotta search nothing because we got it right here. Don't think, oh, you ain't got to go. You in the one shop stop, baby. You can go back and watch the whole panel if you want to do that. But this spoke so much volume that it became the hitting message that he spoke out and what he was saying to let you know how controlled he is. Because the thing is, they try to justify, because a lot of people are going to say, well, why is Meek Mill here? And for this effort to end racism. If it's an effort to end racism, as they're saying this panel is, why are there black people on there? We have no business with racism. Why? What do you mean? We didn't create racism. Had the people on there that did, that do like go down that trope. The people that push racism. Get them government officials that sit there and say, well, this person should get this wage and this person should get this wage for the same job, but the pay is different. Why? Why you want to pay this man less? What about the banking system that gives higher interest rate to a certain color, but to another color, lower interest rates? Even though they have the same revenue or even higher credit score, they get higher rates. This person get a low rate. Why? Why is that happening? So we don't control anything to so our racism, we just don't like the people that got a foot on our neck. That's it. So I don't understand what they even meant by having the NAACP have this panel to have this dumb of statements that was mentioned. And even got this Bishop Tutu looking dude up there to back this up like it's real. Look, this Bishop Tutu looking dude, he on here and he's doing all this goofiness. Look, okay, I was wondering if my camera was working. Check 1 2 1 2. You know what to do. Check it out. What's up, sincerely? I'm glad to see some people got some notifications this time. Man, they doing everything, pulling out all stops to try to mess me up. Hey, let's check this out, y'all. Let's go to when they bring Meek in, because this dude is trying to tell us, well, this anti-Semitism, how many black people you gonna see going around actually hating Jewish people? Like, we don't sit there and dictate what type of, we don't break them in groups. Black folk be like, look, man, I don't like these white dudes doing this and doing that. They don't like that. They'll just come out and say that. They don't break them in groups. Man, I'm telling you, it's those Yugoslavians, man. Man, it's just them Yugos, man. Them Yugoslavians. I mean, they ain't Yugoslavian no more. Well, whatever they is. It's those Czechs, man. Those crazy Czechs. You know, the Serbs is okay, but the Czechs got to go. ain't nobody breaking nobody in groups. Ain't nobody breaking people into groups. That's crazy. So the people who report about actually and telling people about the injustice that they're suffering, they're the racist people. But those people who are saying that talk about what happened to them and get paid for it every year, meaning the Jewish people. So let's go. Let's watch the buffoonery. And then we're going to get to everything else, right? So they bring Meek on stage, Meek Mill, because no other rapper would dare be on this stage. So let's see what happens here. There's Joy Taylor, her fine self. Then you got Robert Kraft and Meek Mill. So far, out of all these three, there's only one real 100% black person on there, and that's Meek Mill, looking like Randy Moss. And this is the NAACP, right? The last two words says colored people. Joy's mixed. Robert Kraft isn't. and you got Meek Mill there. Now, why is Meek Mill there? Because Robert Kraft brought him there. Why would Robert Kraft be there with Meek Mill? Well, let's just say around Meek's neck is an invisible chain. And he has several new owners. And well, let's just say you'll figure that out. If everybody didn't already figured it out, but let's listen to Meek.
One of the kids that we talking about, the war on drugs, growing up in a house without a father. I'm actually one of those kids. I grew up most of my 20s. No matter if I had a record deal and I made millions of dollars, I still spent most of my 20s, well, my whole 20s on probation and then out of the system. So it's something that I really care about. I was talking to some guys backstage about the board of parole. I'm an artist, so I can rap about it and the world hear about it. But I might talk about the parole system and tell a story in a way that some people may not be able to hear the voice of young men on parole. But you guys, if you didn't hear it, your kids that may grow up in the next 10, 20 years know about the pain and struggles of people like us went through parole. So if it didn't kick in this era next year, I mean, in the next 10 years, it may kick in. So, me using my voice and platform because, I know other artists that come from where we come from that don't speak on the issues that we face every day. I was telling them backstage, me seeing Poland and the Holocaust and coming back to America, I said, they don't really have to kill us. And I'm talking about in the black culture in the hood. And I ain't talking about the whole black culture, just in the hood where I come from. Our self-hatred level is risen to the highest level because we are taught to kill each other now and not. This is a real thing that I just noticed of if you just give a liquor, weed, and guns, you don't gotta really execute us. We'll do it in the long run. And me, I'm not perfect, I'm not an angel, but I don't live on the side of committing crimes or power on the side of wrong. I live on the side of what I know is right or what I think is right and what I believe is right and using my voice to power things. If you guys in this room, some of y'all don't know my raps, maybe your kids do, and maybe your kids might grow into politics 10 years from now and may understand my culture a little bit more. So using my voice to the fullest ability is all I could do. And I tell Robert and them, I say I'm a rapper. I got my voice from being an artist, from all these kids being able to listen to me. I always want to keep that, I always want to keep my voice. So you may hear me talking about things that don't align with you guys' lifestyle, but I've been living in the hood and grew up in that pain more than I've been on this side. So I'm going to deliver this side of voice, but I always want to keep that young ear so I can be able to talk to him about things like this one day.
So, what he's saying is, and he made a lot of good points there. But what he's trying to do is justify, I'm still finna rap all the negativity stuff that you like because that's what's gonna buy the record. So I'm still gonna do that, even though I'm gonna still do this. I know all that stuff, and Mr. Kraft, my owner, is telling me he's here to watch what I say. That's why he's here. He's here to watch me, to see if I say something that I shouldn't say and go off the script of the agenda. But Meek is going to go under the script of the agenda because Meek really deep down, see what y'all realizing now is that Meek is being Meek now. He's off the drugs. He ain't high. He ain't drunk. They got Meek right where they want Meek. You see, what he's saying is, I'm still going to do all the negative music. Like, it's no mystery that, yes, they don't have to go to your hood and shoot you because they put devices there to make you destroy yourself. And they realize the biggest drug in the game is hip hop. Hip hop is the biggest, most influential tool ever created. So if they can control that, they can control the whole narrative of the world, because they fought against it and lost. They tried to drive a nail through hip hop and say, no, that's not going to stand. We'll let them make their few dollars, but keep that in the neighborhood. Same thing with drugs, right? Not here. We'll just make sure it never comes in our neighborhood. Keep it over there. And what happened? You're over there, want to be over there. They feel like it's happening over there. So whatever they doing or talking about, they want to do it too. So if you're talking about illegal drugs, these kids gonna want to do it. They think it's cool. Rapper so-and-so just rapped about it. That is the biggest tool in the world, because if you could control the kids, their parents talk to them every day and can't reach them. But they'll listen and go out and run and buy your album. They get their hair cut like you. They buy your clothes that you tell them to buy. That's commerce at the highest level. A rapper could generate billions of dollars for everybody's industry. You know how much Fendi, Louis, Balenciaga, all of them are making now due to a rapper wearing their clothes? Their numbers are going up to the ceiling. Even though they were already doing numbers, and they all think of you like they want to spit on black people. They can't stand blacks. But we kill each other to try to go buy their clothes. That's brainwash at the highest level. If you buying it because, hey, I like the outfit, it look nice, so I'm buying it, that's cool. You want to do it, that's cool. But y'all go out y'all way to make sure y'all get it. We control that. And y'all don't realize that a person from the hood with no money can have that kind of influence that affects the whole world. That don't tell you that you are important out here. Nothing will. So they need us, this small majority, because we generate style, creativity, and what's cool, how clothes are worn, how it's presented, the name. We changed Nike into Nike. There was like black folks call it Nike. What's a Nike? Don't fight it. If that's what they call it, Nike it is. There's like, this is the Nike Corporation. These are my Nikes. That's what they were called, Nikes. The Nike Corporation, and you wear a pair of Nikes. We called it Nike. So guess who won? They said, what they buying the shoes, they can call it what it is. That is the name of the company. We are Nike. Now, why is this affecting Meek? But Meek's not losing money. He still got all these billionaires attached to him. Why? Because he's going to be used to push his social narratives, right? Now, it's going to get even more interesting, because now when someone gets on a roll, as he's talking about it, like it's an epiphany that there's liquor stores and weed and all this stuff and guns. Like, you just figured that out? You just figured that out when you was on that long probation period. People think if they get probation, it's cool. They know you gonna violate it. If they put you on probation for 6 years, guess what? You're gonna be in jail soon. You're gonna violate probation. Like, why did you have such a long probation? Because you couldn't afford a lawyer. One that you could afford to have your best interest in there, that you wouldn't have had such a long thing there. Yes, the Philadelphia system is messed up, but the Philadelphia system is messed up like every prison system is messed up. And you know who's part of these political prisons and these economic prison systems that they're getting paid? Mostly a lot of these giants that's in the music business that cut your checks, Meek. They get paid off that prison system. So those people who are paying for the prison system that put you in there, and you the rapper, and you sign and you're getting paid basically to go to jail and make music to make other people go to jail. Now, I'm not blaming Meek Mill for everything that's happened out there in the world, because there's other people that was doing that. And they're not doing what you're doing now, because you're doing what you're doing not out the kindness of your heart, like you had an epiphany. You did this because you're jammed up. You jammed up. And to get you out, you got to do favors. You got to do things that you kind of don't agree with. And the people that helped you get out, it's the same people you attach to. But what is your job? What is your 9 to 5? You're a rapper, right? Have you been rapping? What show you doing? Where's your fest? It's been about 3 years since he's been out, right? If not longer, since Jay-Z and all these guys came and did their thing, right? Where's the music? The music dictates what's great and what ain't great, right? But when you only did one thing and could only do one thing, it is what it is. You went on a diet. They put you on a vegan diet. They got you off these drugs and alcohol and everything else, and that's great. You look healthy out there. Like I said, he's looking like Randy Moss almost out there. But let's listen to this, and he's going to reveal something else.
Amen. Can I just say what you all heard here? I've had a chance to view him over the last 7 years or so, and he's amazing. And he's got such a big heart. I don't know that I could be as nice if I went through what he went through. And it's a wonderful example how he's using his talent and leadership skills to be a motivation to young kids who've come from similar backgrounds to really live their dream and work through it in spite of all the difficulties. It's really, and it's the same way when I saw him in jail and he wasn't defeated. I know I would have been so ticked off, but he makes the best of it and then looks how he can change the system and make things better.
Can I say something to that? Just speaking on that, like when Robert came to see me in prison, he said, "Yo, you're not bitter," and I was bitter. I was there probably 2-3 months, and I'm just getting like used to it. You got to figure I'm famous. I'm one of the most people with the most financial things going on in the building. So I'm like the main target in the room, and nothing about it is good. I'm locked away from my family. But I told Robert, I've been on this fight in the system. I got locked up when I was 18. I was fighting that case for my mom, my sister, my grandmom, a few aunts and uncles who most of them, I don't even think they went to college, and I don't judge my family off of how far they went, just in success. But I never had nobody that had as much power, influence, and as Robert come stand up and speak for me in a situation like that. So he like, how are you smiling? I'm like, Robert only really had my mom and my sister and them backing me up. So having somebody like Robert Kraft just step in that situation and help me, I value that. Even in a visiting room, I still know how to live in that moment. And I tell Robert, everybody, and they don't, you know, not because you white, not because you're a billionaire or a successful person. He got a good heart. I know how to read people. I've been reading people my whole life to survive in the places I've been in. You know, I read him from having a good heart. And, you know, people stood up for me in that situation. I want to stand up for people, you know, just the people in my community. I've been going in and out of prison for technical violations and not committing new crime. A technical violation if you cross state lines without permission, if uh you took a Percocet without a prescription. You know, I end up going in and out of prison for those things. And the last time I've been out of prison, my whole 20, from 18 to 31, this last time I almost made up my mind that I was going to fully commit to basically not giving a F because my whole life was ruined going in and out of prison. They kind of saved me from that with the last bit of hope of kind of backing me up because I've been in and out of prison my whole life. I thought that this is what the narrative was. And you know, this last stint of reform, being on stages like this, it made me make my mind up that I'm going a direction that I wanted to go because success in the music business couldn't even make me make my mind up. And this has pushed me in that direction where I need to be. So thank you guys.
Oh,
And thank you.
Wow. A lot was said just right there. Notice this man did not say Jay-Z one time. Why he didn't say Jay-Z? I saw Jay-Z more than I saw Robert Kraft. You see that? But there's a reason. That's what I'm saying. He purposely omitted Jay-Z out of this. Jay-Z was there. That big old, whatever that Jamaican wig he wearing, that was right there. That hairpiece was there. He was giving speeches. He got the free Meek shirt on. Jay was vested. They smelled the bag. And you was going to be the poster child. So they was going to make way more money off this, getting people to donate and throw money into the campaign, and they finna get paid for all of it. Meanwhile, let's see the progress report. Let's see all this prison reform, right? Let's see where the money going. But he purposely didn't mention Jay-Z. He turned to Robert Kraft and started saying, this man got a good heart. That man that you say got a good heart was in a place that got raided for getting a massage at an Asian massage parlor. And not only did he have his name taken off, he was insulted. They had to apologize to him for even including Mr. Kraft in that situation. But Mr. Kraft has a good heart. Not saying he don't. But why is it so important that we know Robert Kraft has a good heart? Why are you so focused on Mr. Kraft? I never had nobody stick up for me, just my mama and them. And I got somebody like Robert Kraft sticking up for me. You had a lot of people sticking up for you that last go round. Jay-Z, you had the owner of the Philadelphia 76ers, the one that keep feeling on you, the one that keep taking you on the planes with him everywhere. You had that billionaire. You had Robert Kraft. You had a lot of other people. They were all vested in you, right? You got other rappers that was out there. So you had more than just your mama and your sister. Bruh, you had way more than your mama and your sister. But these people got power. And you, as a black man, should know they ain't thinking about your narrow ass. There's a bigger picture involved, and you is just the tool that's going to benefit from it. They finna use you, get you out, and make a whole big reform plan for it, where they gonna put all this money in the pot, split that money up. Nothing really gonna get done, and then that's gonna be the end of it. And then they'll free you and about 5 other people, and then everybody else, well, good luck. But now we got a pot where we can throw this money in, and we're gonna say prison reform, and we're gonna keep the boat rolling. Now, here's the gist on a lot of the things that people miss and may miss out on here. We often like to bring up the fact that there are other people that's outside of here that don't seem to get it or understand what's going on, like in the world, period. And they just omit everything that they hear. They have like no clue. And they just can't pick up on messages that are being dropped. Like what they're bringing up now, because he hasn't really landed his plane the whole time he's talking. Meek Mill has not landed his plane. The plane is still up there, right? He still ain't brought the plane down. So I'm just breaking down these pieces as it goes along. Wait till he gets to the next level. All right, let's get to the next level.
Too, Robert.
Your authenticity.
And Joy, let me just say, it's so important for Meek Mill to be on this stage and to be in discussion, because there's a whole generation.
He's not Meek Mims, it's Meek Mills. But yeah, that shows you how much out of touch you are with the whole conversation. And then the rest of these token brothers is up here finna talk a whole lot of unnecessary madness. Now, when they close this thing out, they gonna pull the plug on Meek Mill, because Meek is gonna get real relaxed and say something he shouldn't say. Now watch this.
Taking, but also make this change in their own life.
I would say, just in examples of Robert, I would say, be more risky. Like, Robert dealing with me dealing with Robert. I don't know what I'm walking into. I'm pretty sure he didn't know what he was walking into, because my background was a little screwed up. And, he took risks, for us to create things like reform, that led to me being on these stages with the blue square and talking about what we talking about today, racism. Just taking more risk. He took risks with me. I took risks. On the internet, they got me under. I'm just you could Google this stuff on TikTok. They got me like, as I'm following Robert Kraft for them. They control me like puppets. This is no such thing. This is a man that cared about me at one of my worstest times, where I didn't have as many resources as you think as a rapper. I say taking risks and just being more open. I don't have a religion. I'm from Philadelphia, where like 90% of the community is Muslim. My mom is Christian. If I've been in prison a lot of times where 90% of the prison was Muslim, it was my best benefits. I read the Quran, the Bible, I read a lot of things, but what I noticed is if I would have became Muslim or any other race, it would have separated me from my mother. So in some of my other family members, my grandmother, which is Christian, she's one of the most precious things in our family. I decided just to take a stance and believe in God so I could represent all people regardless. And that's just always been my stance as a younger person. So just be more open and take risks, I would say.
That's wonderful advice. Thank you all.
Whoa. 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 Did you hear that? Why did he bring up the Quran? Muslims? I read the Quran. I was a Muslim, and my mom's a Christian and all that. What do that have to do Nobody was going around begging Meek Mill like, man, you better be Muslim. You from Philly. Philly is a large Muslim like place. I mean, Israelites also. The house of Yah is out there. So, and those are some of the brothers I used to speak to, my Israelite brother. Then one Israelite brother is mad at me. They just like Israel, being an Israelite, just knowing where you from. That's all it means. But they act like they can't argue with each other or have a disagreement because somebody else is an Israelite. It's like, bro, if I don't buy a shawl from you, if I don't buy your Israelite soap, I'm yeah, man, you just this and that. You ain't this, and this. I'm like, dog, I'm not a part of a cult at all. I just know where I'm from, where my ancestry leads to. That's just it. So you can disagree and we can have a disagreement there. I didn't want to buy the soap or item that you had because I didn't believe in what you were selling. I didn't want to buy it. That's all that was. But why would he feel a need to bring up Christianity and bring up the Quran and the Bible and basically saying, like, I just picked a winner out of all of them and just say, well, I'm going to just believe in God? Why would you need to involve that in your conversation on stage? Who was that message for? You see, when people talk, they give away clues. The Quran is a translation of the Torah. That's all it is. It does not have all the details of the Torah, but it is a translation of the Torah. And it is one of the closest things to the Torah there is. The Bible is supposed to be a translation of the Torah, but it's entirely different. If you read the Quran and you read the Bible, some of the stories are very similar. Moses, the Ten Commandments, a lot of the stories are similar. It's just one story just has more detail. Like the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not kill. It don't stop there. There's a whole big paragraph after that. They don't just say thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not. They just shorten it in the Bible, like they just shorten it out. But if you read the Quran, it's way more detailed. And it leaves less translation by you to have to fill in what it means. They tell you exactly what it means. You see, because in the language they spoke, wasn't a little bunch of words to mean the same thing. They didn't have a lot of different dialects as much as we have now, where this word could have meant this or it could have meant that. No. When they put a certain word there, that's exactly what it meant. And that's it. There's no wiggle room. There's nothing. Everybody spoke direct because that was the only way to translate was direct. Why would I speak indirectly? No, this is exactly what it means. It was definitive. So when they wrote it, that's exactly what it meant. But when they translate it here, it's like, well, it could mean this. Maybe he meant that, or because of the words they choose to use in the language they speak. In English, like, we have the worst out of any language in the world. We have the most words to mean the same damn thing. I'm happy. I'm overjoyed. I'm elated. I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm enraged. Pissed. So we got the same amount of words to mean the same thing. Out of any language in the world, we have the most. That's why it's so confusing when you know that, when you have someone else that's trying to learn English and they hear the words and be like, man, I speak English, but I don't know what he just said. Because they know just the basic words that get by. You know, the word that means this, they be like, wow, that word means that too. So the longer they speak English, they start to pick it up. They can translate it over and get the slang. It's more slang driven. That's why English is the hardest to learn, because nobody really speaks it plainly. Because it's every English you speak is slang. Every version of it that you speak is going to be slang. It's not the most common word that everyone uses in everyday conversation. Just the everyday conversation and where you're from. We don't say the words properly, but we know what it means. Shoot, brothers, we never cared about speaking the language right. We can't even say the word currency. Man, go down to the currency exchange, man. Go down to the currency exchange. It's currency. That's all it is, man. Go down to the currency exchange. The currency. So the currency is it. If you're not going to the currency exchange, when we was kids, they used to have a noun later. Eat one now, eat one later. Now and laters. Never was called now and laters. It was called now and laters. Give me them now and laters. That's just how it was. Now and laters. Ambulance? Oh no, ambulance was called ambulance. That's what it's called. And no, ambulance. Call the ambulance, man. Get the ambulance. That's what it. Right. Now, ladies. Man, call the ambulance. So, like I said, you was never gonna get that out of us. So good luck trying to learn and break down the English language with us. We speaking slang coming out the gate because it was never our dialect to begin with.
All so much for being here with us today. I want to thank Professor Gates, President Johnson, Robert Kraft, and Meek Mill, and all of you for engaging in this amazing conversation. Thank you, everyone.
Ain't this what knowledge and sense? And I'm the one that keep the line on the rap ignorance and be able to.
Okay, let's go back to this
about
point.
what they did to Jewish people about they wrote.
See, here we
share kind of how you and Robert came together as friends.
Yeah, because I always go back and forth with a lot of people. They think it's like Robert Kraft is just a billionaire sports team owner, and that's somebody I'm just following behind. I told Robert on a plane on the way here, and I don't know how I should say it on stage. I told him back there, I'm like, how should I say stuff? But I told him before 10, 15 years ago when I was caught up in the system as a...
Why are you on the plane with Robert Kraft saying, how should I say stuff? You see how people, they tell on themselves without even knowing that they're telling on themselves. Why are you having a conversation to Robert Kraft on the plane about how you should say things on stage? He's on stage with you to watch you and watch how you say things. So you're not speaking from your own mind. You speaking in the mind of, I want to say it how Mr. Kraft wants me to say it. So once again, what this whole thing was doing, the NAACP, what they're trying to do is blame black people for racism. That's it. That's what this whole panel was about. We got to end racism, so y'all got to stop not liking Jewish people and hating on Jewish people. Who's doing that? Who's walking around doing that? They hate people that's oppressing them. Whatever you happen to be, that's what it is. They ain't gonna like you. Nobody saying they gotta like you. Notice they ain't saying that to them. Go down there and you have a whole meeting with all the Jewish people in there, and you start telling them they need to end racism and they need to stop being racist. Whoever hosted that event, they're gonna be shut down. Everybody else gonna be shut down at the end of the night.
The young guy, I never seen like a white successful businessman coming to help me in between my hardships with the system. And I had a lot of other black men that helped me, but I never expected an older white male to come help me. And I talked to Robert when I was on the phone. I was in prison. I was on the phone with my friend Mike, and I told him to put me on the phone with Robert. And when I talked to Robert, I was like, I'm just asking bold stuff and these things that people wouldn't ask. I asked, could he come see me in prison? And when Robert said that, he said he never seen the inside of a prison. Uh, that was shocking to me. Just us having conversations in studios, him being around my friends, and he said his kids were prepared to go to summer camp every summer, and we told him in the summer we was worrying about getting locked up or shot. I seen in his heart that it was really shocking to him, and it's just him in the studio 2 a.m. amongst a group of young black kids that come from the hood, and he want to know our story. And from him seeing him learning about my story and actually caring about the.
Do you think Robert Kraft, who's about probably in his 90s almost, look how he looking at you. He looking at you like, you better say this thing right. Look at him. You better stay right on point. You think this is shocking and amazing what's happening to black people, like he's oblivious to what's happening in the world? Do you think Mr. Kraft is sitting there going, wow, every summer you got to worry about getting shot and going to jail? I had no idea this was going on in the world. Jesus Christ. Crooked nanny. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? You think your case was so shocking to Robert Kraft, who's been alive for about 90 years, that your case is this the first time he's ever heard in his life a black man have to worry about getting shot and going to jail in the summertime in his neighborhood. Wow. When he employs about 90% African American on his own football team. And he comes from the football team is one of the most racist areas in the United States of America, over in Massachusetts. One of them. Why do you think they grab wide receivers? And most of them, they claim that they want them from the ghetto. Somebody that allegedly used to work for the Patriots said they looking for gangbangers with speed. Hell, they get to run away from the police like that. They need to sign him for the Patriots. So they look for those wide receivers that came from the ghetto. Gangbangers, boy, they just got speed when they come from the ghetto. And you think you telling him something he don't know? Your case was the first thing. That was an epiphany. Okay. Now, let's get more interesting.
Causes that affected me and my peoples. It was probably 2 years ago where Robert said, I'm gonna get you to come to Poland with me. And I didn't know the effects of how many friends I had that were Jewish, that had family members that were connected to what happened in Poland and Auschwitz, and how many people that thanked me. I didn't go there to get a thank you. I didn't go there for any certain agenda. I went there because Robert actually learned about me and my friends, my lifestyle, and where I came from. And when he asked me to go to Poland, I went, and he asked me about a year ago, 2 years ago, and when we went, he showed me some things there that I never seen before, and it was similar to the lifestyle. It was more raw and it was more violence that was shown in that museum, but in my neighborhood, it was similar to the things that we went through. You know, we got a tour in Poland about what they did to Jewish people. About they tattooed numbers on them and called them by numbers, and the lady said that it was so humiliating to them that it made them not value themselves. And I just was telling Robert what they was calling us by numbers, you know, when they could have called us by our names. It was one time they almost made me shave my head off. They said, you have to shave your head or you going to the hole. I knew that wasn't the policy, and I didn't shave my hair, but I stood up and I was prepared to go to the hole. And Robert showed me a room of 40,000 women hair on the ground. You know, I heard about these things, but it's sort of like, and I tell Robert and them, it's sort of like when you watching the news, you see a 30-second clip of a young girl killed in the hood. I would believe you all guys would all care about it, but it's hard to attach to it if you wasn't physically involved. You know, Robert took me there, and I seen that for my own self. And
why? Okay, this is the NAACP committee. Why are we talking about Poland and Jewish people? This is supposed to be for colored people. So what is the message here? We're all the same. We're not the one oppressing anybody. We're not walking around here oppressing Jews. We're not the one doing all these things to them. We're not in power. So how the people that's not empowered is the people you got to address? Why Meek Mill there? Because Mr. Kraft brought him there. They brought him there for him to talk to us, to say, yo, man, y'all got to stop that, man. The way y'all treating these Jewish people, man. Like, man, I've never had nobody in my life, man. You know, I went to jail, man. They tried to cut my hair off, man. They called us by a number, man. You know what I'm saying? That was similar. He was telling me, man, they was tattooing numbers on people and calling them by the numbers, man, over in Poland, man. Man, that was crazy, man. I'm like, yeah, I know. I saw Schindler's List. Saw all of them, the Holocaust movies. They come out with them every year. They've been making money off this forever. They talk about it every year. They keep the general famous because they make money off of them. Who putting those movies out? It's not the Germans. This is the NC, well, not the NCAA, but the NAACP. Shoot, I'd rather watch the NCAA and do a panel than to watch this. He was sleeping social studies class, obviously, because this is all news to him. Like, man, I can't believe that, man. When he showed me in the museum over there in Poland, man, it was crazy. I ain't gotta go to Poland to know what happened. I ain't gotta know what they written happened. I ain't gotta go to Poland for that. So this whole panel didn't even make sense. What is it about? Anti-Semitism. Blacks don't even know what, most of the blacks don't even know what the hell that means. They think that's some type of ointment. Anti-Semitism, man, I hit that. Man, I rubbed some of that on, yeah. Anti-Semitism, yeah, I rubbed that some on my arm. Yeah, my arm, yeah, it was feeling a little funny. But yeah, I put some anti-Semitism on it. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it started feeling a little better when I rubbed that anti-Semitism. There it is. Yeah, there it is. Feeling a little better now. Yeah, it's sad because nobody really has this, like, ever. Like, they never had this type of, like I want y'all to listen to this. Nobody wrong, like black people, we do not walk around thinking like this. This is not our program. We think about how much money we gonna get from one day to the next day, what bills I gotta pay, where I want to go eat and kick it. We keep things about as simple could get. I ain't spending that much for this. How could I get this cheaper? That's basically it. From day in to day out, we are not thinking about hating against a whole group of people. We just want to kick it with the people we know and kick it with. They act like black people and Jewish people have never been friends before in life. The NAACP was helped founded by Jewish people. They the ones came and showed the blacks like how to really structure this thing and put it together to make it go back in the day. See, that's part of American history that when they came here from Poland, right? The blacks were the only people that were allied with the Jewish people because they weren't loved when they got here either. They went through the same thing as everybody else. They was treated as less than nothing. So they allies with us. We was thick as thieves. Come on, man, we got your back. We were shot. White people hating white people? Where did this come from? We never saw nothing like that. So we were like, man, these dudes is cool with us. They were running to us. They were looking for anybody to be an ally with them. Then something happened. Something changed in the way they felt about us, right?
It just gave me what it gave him when he came to the prison and seen me, you know? And I brought that back to my neighborhood. And when I came back, a lot of people from the Jewish community was thinking me and saying that they know that I cared. Me, I come from a ruthless environment. I grew up in a hood where it isn't any rules. You know, we have morals. We never lost morals, but it's ruthless in the environment. Through all that I grew up in, I still never lost my care for all types of people. I never was taught that way not to care about all types of people, and I would never lose that. And me and people like Robert, myself, he opened doors for me to be on stages like this because before I wasn't on stages like this. I was on rap stages rapping about, you know, violence and guns. You know, that we get paid to rap about that stuff. They actually pay us more when we rap about more ignorant stuff. So I make sure I even a line and come on talk on stages like this. But you guys,
see, he just opened the business. See, right there, he didn't even know what all he said. Listen to what he said about the record companies.
We never lost morals, but it's ruthless in the environment. Through all that I grew up in, I still never lost my care for all types of people. I never was taught that way not to care about all types of people, and I would never lose that. And me and people like Robert, myself, he opened doors for me to be on stages like this because before I wasn't on stages like this. I was on rap stages rapping about, you know, violence and guns. You know, that we get paid to rap about that stuff. They actually pay us more when we rap about more ignorant stuff. So I make sure I even a line and come talk on stages like this. But
so he says the record companies pay them more. The record companies pay them more to talk about guns and violence. Who owns the record company? You don't own it. What denomination are they? Just asking. And say why? Go ask them, Meek. He say he balances it out by going on stage. Didn't I tell you this is what this was about? So y'all doing a whole thing about all of this guns and violence, and we're gonna end racism, anti-Semitism, and you sitting here got a rapper who's finna go right back and talk about the same thing, killing, shooting, drugs, and all that, right? And that's fine. But you coming on here saying I want to balance it out by doing these panels to talk about that's not cool to do, and don't do this, and Whitey's good. You know, I don't know what this panel is. Like, what is this panel about? Why are you telling? If you want to end racism, you ain't got to talk to us. We're not the racist ones. We don't care. The people that seem to have a problem always seem to have a problem with us. That's just always what it is. So if you don't like us, we ain't gonna like you either. That's just how it is. It's not hard. Now, go Meek Mill. Why don't you do a panel with your record executives that pay you your checks? Go do a panel with them. Have the NAACP have them on stage, and you say, why y'all pay me more money to talk about guns and violence? And put the microphone on them. Then we will take you seriously. We will take you seriously. Why are you paid more to talk about guns and violence? Why wouldn't they pay you the same thing they pay everybody else? Why are you paid more if you talk about that? Because he didn't say they pay me to rap. He said they pay me more to talk about guns and violence. They pay me more. He said more.
to care about all types of people, and I would never lose that. And me and people like Robert, myself, he opened doors for me to be on stages like this, because before I wasn't on stages like this. I was on rap stages rapping about, violence and guns. That we get paid to rap about that stuff. They actually pay us more when we rap about more ignorant stuff. So I make sure I even align and come talk on stages like this. But you guys, the NAACP, open up doors for people like me to be able to power forward, because the things that fund us, that don't power me forward. I just make sure, because I know better and I'm at an age point, I'm 36. They power us really went from when we 21 to 25, where we really don't know. I'm one of the lucky ones that made it through, where I was able to get my knowledge and sense, and I'm the one that keep the line on the rap ignorance and be able to level out conversations like these and deliver it to the young people who may not attend things like this. So I would just say I appreciate you guys for having given me this opportunity, and I appreciate he didn't have to come to that prison and come see a young guy that was toting a gun once upon a time in a hood and put his name on the line when he had a lot of people telling him don't do that, and he did it. So I commend him, and I didn't expect that from a person of where he come from, and he opened a bridge to my life to be able to open bridge for more people.
Now, wow. But the next album called Kill a Nigga be out next week. You see, you can't do that. Nobody's gonna take you seriously if if the damage they're paying you to do, you just said they pay you to talk about drugs and violence. So now you come out and talk about drugs and violence, right? That's what you do on the regular. So the whole narrative is, why should they trust you? Why should they believe in you? Why should they go through all of this just for you? Oh, what's up, Fair Huxtable? Like she out on the beach. They don't care, Outlaw. They really don't. This is the sad reality that we're faced with in this world. Well, we'll talk about, Mr. Magoo, rest in peace to him, because we spoke about that earlier today. I'm gonna talk about that on the Patreon. Yeah, we ran into him at the Music Fest, the WGCI Music Fest. Mr. Magoo was up here, and he was talking about like a lot of things, and they didn't want him to talk. Timberland definitely don't want him to talk. And he said something one time, and never again was it mentioned. But go back to the infamous day with a member from Jodeci and Missy Elliott. Go back to that day. And that's when a lot of things started to go left. Okay, he spoke on that one time. One time. They didn't like that. I'm going to talk about it on the Patreon. But on the Patreon this week, we've been exposing these people who are involved in trafficking under your nose, child endangerment, all of these things. And we've been exposing them on the Patreon. And I think that's why they slowed the video down. But the video's done. I've already turned it in, and I'm banking they're going to like release it at like 2 a.m. So if you're on my Patreon, you VIP on there, you get to see it, and you're going to know the names. You're going to know the names of these people. So, yeah, putting my life at risk. I know, but hell, I done lived a lot of years. So if I don't make it to see, the next Avengers movie, then it's so be it. No, I got to get ready to roll out. I was about to drop the link tonight so everybody can get in, but I'm about to roll out, so I'm not going to really be here too much longer. Oh yeah, I'm a late. Everybody know I'm a late night man, not a morning guy. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. Right. Black folks, we're not raised to be racist people. Our parents don't send us to school and say, okay, now make sure you be good to black folks. When you go out there, they say, don't you misbehave, don't act up, don't do this, don't do that. Nobody out there preaching racist. That's not taught in our community. We don't like people that don't like us. That's just it. But no, because we don't care enough to be racist to other people. Nobody sits there and talk about that, but it's always the people who are the oppressors want to be the victims too. That's what the problem is. The people that are actually the people who actually have a problem, they're the problem. You go alleviate everybody else's thing with racism. The racism is from when you segregate people, that's going to create racism. It's going to create hate. It could be people of the same race. When they're segregated again away from other people, it's about class and society. We've seen rich people don't want to be around other people, don't care about their color or their skin. They want to be around them, period. Because they feel like they're low class. Get me out of here. Just the whole thing. They want to be segregated. So when you meet people and actually have conversations with people, it alleviates all of the worries, the stress, what they had about people. They might like, oh, okay, well, cool. I know them. That's fine. Like if I didn't meet people from other cultures and learn about their other cultures from them directly, not from a textbook. I know Indian people, so I've actually met them. In the ghetto, in the hood, we don't have that many interaction with people. Mexicans is it. Latinos and Puerto Ricans, very seldomly we do, but normally the only people we meet that are white or Caucasian are in an authoritative figure over us. They're the principal, they're the teachers, they're the police, they're the owner of the restaurant. So every time we meet them, they're in an authoritative position. So those are the interactions we have. And that's due to segregation. But if you've been in areas where they're segregated, you got a white guy sitting on the couch next to a black guy, and everybody else, they don't care. Because they view them as people. You judge them as a person. Somebody could be an a-hole who might be a whole different race. You don't care. He's an asshole. That's it. That's what you know him as. This was an asshole. And so is he. So that is that. No, I have to leave to go collect my money. Yeah, dude owes me. He's still paying on his Aero Spence bet, but he pays every Sunday, so I gotta let him know I'm on my way to come get it. Yeah, he got 200 for me. By his next paycheck, he should be squared. See, people pay what they owe. He said, "Time to watch House of Lies." Yeah, man, I got billions back now. Axe is back, so I'm great. Yeah, I've been getting paid on it. I'm still waiting on Q to get off the books. Everybody else is either squared away or they still paying. Like the debt was so large that I'm taking installments. So I got to go get 200 tonight, and then by another 200, he'll be square. He thought for sure this was a sure bet to take my money. Oh boy, were they wrong. Well, he has no choice because he has to see me. And I'm quite intimidating when I want my money. I come in there like Debo. Sup, y'all? What's up, man? What you got on my bet, homie? No, you got something. Shut up before I knock your ass out. Yeah, I saw Twist and them the other day. I know. Tell me about it, right? Matter of fact, let me get out of here and go take care of that. Thank y'all for listening, man. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, I promise, we gonna do an open stream, y'all. I would have opened it up now if I didn't have to go get this money. But let me go get this money, man. I'ma holler at y'all. Deuces.